If you have been applying to schools in the US and still haven't gotten a good scholarship or assistantship, it means that something has to change. You cannot do the same things and expect a different outcome. In this video, I'm going to show you what I would do if I haven't gotten a good scholarship or assistantship to study in the US. If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me a lot. Alright, let's get started. One big reason you didn't get a good scholarship is that you applied to the wrong schools. This time you have to search for the right schools. You have to make sure they have funding and that this information is clearly stated on their website. You can send a cold email to find out more if a key information is missing on their website. Top ranked schools may have good offers, but they are very difficult to get into. If you see schools like Harvard, MIT, University of Washington, Columbia University, Stanford, the University of Chicago, Berea College, among others, they are just for a few students. These schools have acceptance rates of less than 3% for some programs. People are quick to recommend Berea College as if it is easy to get into. Either they don't understand some of these things or they just care about subscribers and views. I recommended 19 undergraduate schools for full scholarships and Berea College was number 19 simply because people are quick to recommend it. In my video, I warned that it is for a few students who have close to perfect SAT scores and can submit a good essay about their leadership and community experiences among others. At Berea College, tuition is free and you get a free laptop as well. I was clear that the reason I was recommending it as number 19 is because of its popularity and that it is for a few intelligent students. Top ranked graduate schools are generally for a few students who have near perfect GRE scores or exceptional abilities. This also depends on the program, as STEM programs are very competitive in the top universities. A student once reached out to me that the only school he wants to attend is Yale. He had a GPA that is less than 3.5 and he didn't appear as someone who has what it takes to get into Yale. He had already tried twice and he didn't get any offer, and with such an obsession he could end up spending so many years and still not be able to come. He believes that he has an imaginary connection with the school. If you don't have a good GRE score and you want to study a STEM related program in a top ranked university in the US, you will simply waste your time. Please stay away from most of these schools. There are over 5,000 universities and colleges in the US and there are many to choose from. People may recommend certain schools to you, but the reality is that these schools are not good for you. These people are probably trying to do their best for you, but they just don't understand how competitive it is to get into such schools. I have already suggested many schools that I know to have offered admission and funding to many international students. These schools are also based on their flexible requirements and funding opportunities. They are what I call the right schools based on certain factors that I mentioned in the video. If you didn't get a good funding, it could also mean your application was not deemed competitive enough compared to the application pool. Maybe your GPA is not high enough, in which case I will recommend taking the GRE and doing well, or consider doing a transcript evaluation. If your GPA is very good, spend a lot of time on the application materials. Some schools are very clear on what they want to see in your personal statement. In that case, it is important to carefully consider those requirements and guidelines and tailor your personal statement accordingly. Your personal statement should highlight your motivation, your research interest, and your future goals. I have read many personal statements where students ask for funding, but you shouldn't ask for funding in your personal statement unless stated by the department or unless it's a scholarship letter. The goal of your personal statement is to appear credible and genuinely interested in the program. You will automatically be considered for funding after you have been given admission and you had stated in the application that you want funding. In your resume or CV, highlight your academic, research, and teaching experiences as they relate to the program. If you have HND, you should consider getting a degree in your home country so that it will give you more credit hours and also make your GPA more competitive. For undergraduate students, if you want a good scholarship, you have to consider taking the SAT. If you have any of these test scores but the result isn't good, you have to take it again. The process is not easy as some of you see it. In my recent interview with Dr. Boaje, who had his PhD in Japan, he talked about the stressful nature of the scholarship and that he nearly gave up. This is how the journey is. But if you are willing to put in the work, you get a good scholarship to come to the US. Anyone can get a good scholarship if they put in the work. I remember helping a lady to come to the US to study an IT program. She was asked to take the GRE and the lady spent several months preparing for the GRE, and it didn't even matter the score that she got. God. She was able to get a full tuition waiver to come here, and her visa was approved easily. The most important application material for PhD studies is the GRE, especially for STEM related programs. And at the time I took my GRE, I was at my lowest point in life. I was depressed, confused, sad, lonely, and everything you can think of. So I didn't do well, and I knew I wouldn't do well. I didn't think what I was going through would change soon. So I decided to apply for PhD studies like that, hoping that my high GPAs and experiences at all levels would help me. I applied to 10 universities for my PhD in economics, but got into only one of them. There is even more to this one, which I will explain someday. Of course, this was during the COVID-19 pandemic and schools had cut their budgets. Without a good GRE score, my application was weak. However, applying to 10 universities ensured that I got one offer. So if things haven't worked out for you, you should consider applying to more universities so that you can get at least one good offer. Remember that good things don't come cheap. You can also consider reapplying to the same school again, so long as they have stated clearly on their websites that they offer funding to international students. Sometimes reapplying sends a signal to the department that you really want to study the program. Of course, you must improve your application before reapplying. In some schools, when you reapply, the application fee is lowered for you. For example, at Ohio University, the first application fee is $55, but the subsequent ones are $25. If you get admission and then you want to defer to a different semester, you only pay $10 to reapply. Based on my observations, the reason many don't get good offers is their focus on free app schools. Students are searching around for schools that they can apply for free. The truth is that those recommending these schools will not apply to such schools. Many people are quick to sell to you free application fee schools without even checking for funding opportunities in the schools. So for example, if a school in New York is giving me a $50,000 scholarship, but my cost of attendance will be $100,000, why should I apply to such a school when there are so many better options elsewhere? Always, the goal of graduate students is an assistantship. The goal of undergraduate students is full scholarship, and so that is something that you have to check before you apply to a school. If a school is waiving the application fee for doing something such as attending an information session, then that is a good thing because it means it reduces the competition, because not everybody will get the waiver code to attend that school. But you shouldn't consider just such schools only. There is so much competition to schools in the US, and to give yourself a better chance, you should be prepared to pay the application fee after you have discovered a good school. Let me tell you why schools even waive the application fees. Number one, to encourage students to apply to a school that doesn't have good financial assistance or assistantships for international students. Number two, the school has decided that due to some financial hardships that many students are going through, they want to waive the application fee. This was the case during the COVID-19 pandemic. Number three, the school has a less diverse campus, and so they are waiving it to attract more international students. Number four, some schools waive their application fees in order to receive more applications and thereby reduce their acceptance rates. This is to ensure that the school appears more competitive and then be highly ranked on the list of schools in the US. I am not saying that paying the application fee will automatically get you a good offer. It takes more than that, but think about it. If you pay the application fee to a school and you don't get any offer, it means that there is no way you could have gotten an offer applying to a free application fee school. So if you are serious about studying in the US, or you have been trying for a while without any success, please consider these points very well and consider applying to only schools that require the application fee. Don't apply for the visa if you don't have a good offer in the form of full scholarships or graduate assistantships, hoping to come to the US to get a good scholarship. There is a temptation to do that, but please don't do that. There are no guarantees that a school will give you funding when you come. Funding usually depends on the academic performance of the students and funding availability in the school. The second point, which is funding availability in the school, is out of your control. Don't rely on campus jobs because they won't give you enough to pay your school fees and even take care of your living expenses. It is also important to understand that your F1 visa may not be approved without a good funding, unless it is your parents or company sponsoring you. The visa officer cares a lot about having a good scholarship, since a good scholarship is not just a financial support, but also a proof that the school wants you to come and you are a legitimate student. Invest the visa processing money into new applications and let others review your application materials for you to make them solid and competitive. I have all the videos that you need to submit a competitive application. You can check them out in the Study Abroad playlist. Going for the visa interview without a good scholarship is a big risk, and I will not take such a risk. You have a low chance of being approved. There are some students who submit applications after February hoping to be funded. If you do that, you are not likely to be offered any kind of funding. Ideally, you have to submit your application by the end of December. Some schools have what we call priority consideration, and you must ensure that your application is submitted within that deadline. Submitting your application early means you consider the university a top choice for your studies. I also come across a lot of students who insist on applying to start in spring semester. You need to understand that the semesters in the US start in fall, and therefore the fall semester is the best time to be funded by the school. Waiting a few months to start in fall may be the best thing for you. We humans don't want to be patient, but sometimes that is the only way for us to get what we want. So my point is that apply early and also apply to start in the fall semester, not the spring semester. One key to being funded if things haven't worked out in the past is research. There are so many schools that people are not aware of, and they will actually fund you, but you have to do an extensive research to find them. If you are just focusing on schools that are recommended to you, you have to remember that many others will apply to such schools as well. Research is the only way that you can come across hidden schools and face less competition. Honestly, if doing a research is too much for you, then you are probably not ready to come to the US. US education is very tough in terms of many weekly assignments, and you are required to learn how to find information on the internet. I remember the story of my friend John, who I have interviewed on this channel. He got a juicy offer in 2017 to study at the Clinton School of Public Service. I had not even heard of this school until his offer came. This is what research can do for students. I know it can be hard to do everything and still not get a good offer to process your visa. For me, I believe that anyone who keeps going and is willing to put in the work will eventually see their dream of studying in the US become a reality. Sometimes you have to be disappointed in order to be well prepared for your moment. The videos that YouTube is recommending to you are videos that I want you to watch because they are going to help you with your application. If you have enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. The information in this video is extremely important, and I will appreciate it if you share the video with others. Alright, see you in my next video.